Here's how to buy some dirt cheap houses in Texas for as little as $7,000 in 2025. We're talking houses that you could potentially buy and flip for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 to $100,000 and beyond. In fact, I found some houses with opening bids as little as $7,000 that can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So tune in here today. It is a fresh year, 2025, depending on when you're watching this. However, we're going to go over why 2025 is one of the best times to get started with the type of real estate and the type of deals that I'm going to show you that are available today. In fact, some of these properties are going to go up in the next couple days. And I know for a fact as well that people who watch this channel sometimes pick up properties 80, 90% below market value. We're all about buying properties through tax deeds, tax liens, some super cheap government seized property. And before I forget, since we're talking about Texas, I feel every Texas video needs a Stetson, a proper cowboy hat as we get into this. So if you want to make fun of it, please go ahead, have some fun. But we go to these sales. We're going to be going to these sales here coming up as well and bidding on properties ourselves. So I want to walk you guys through this. If you're tuning in for the first time, it's Dustin Hahn here. We have the #1 channel on Tax Liens and Deeds. I believe on the YouTubes these days, which is pretty cool. I never thought it would, never thought it'd go this far. So super excited about that. So I want to walk you guys through some of these properties that are coming up. Some of these are in the next few days, and some of you guys might land some of these properties in the next couple days. Now, what I love about this is the fact that in Texas, they do auctions, government auctions every single month, the first Tuesday of every single month. So if you go to these auctions and maybe you don't get something, maybe you go to 2 or 3. My point is if you just do this even a couple days a month, you can have an opportunity to make great money in real estate. And whether you want to quit your job, create rental property income, legacy wealth, this is a great way to get into real estate. So for those of you guys who don't know my story, I was working on an oil rig, hating my life, super miserable. And it was tax liens and deeds and government seized properties that allowed me to escape that rat race and actually enjoy my life. So now we do that business, and this YouTube channel kind of took off, and we show you how to do it. So if you want to get into this, let's just go step by step. We're going to go from the beginning. I'm going to share my screen with you right now and show you some of these properties that are going to be coming up here in the next couple days. And side note, this is the beginning of the year. This is going to be one of the best auctions for Texas or for anybody getting into the business because it's a new year, which means a lot of investors blew all their money on Christmas. A lot of people spent money on Christmas and they're not going to be able to pay their taxes. So a lot of the times the first auctions of the year have more property, less people, which means you can make more money. And the cool thing these days, you can do this stuff from the comfort of your home. So let's just get right into it as far as where to find these properties. And I'm going to go in the most super simple, basic way to get you going on this stuff because we start you at the beginning and then build you up through it. So share my screen here. We're going to go into the loops, infinite loop. That is the infinite loop of doom, which is good. It means it's working. I'm going to be checking back with this screen every now and then to make sure that the camera's working and make sure that the microphone is working as well. From here, if you have any questions, do me a favor, put them in the comments. I will come back and start answering questions. If you're watching this replay, put them in the comments as well, and I will come back. So the simplest way to start this is to just go to our friend Google here and type Texas tax deed sales. Okay, so we come here. I've already pre-typed it. Boom. We type Texas tax deed sales. I'm going to make this a little larger, straight from the beginning from Google. Now, Harris County is a great place to go. We go to places like Harris and Dallas are some of our favorite places. Texas, 256 counties, one of the best places for tax deed investing. Start super easy, okay? So just come here, go to Google, type Texas tax deed sale like you see here on the screen. Then what you're going to do, you're going to come. This is the Harris County website. So just click you agree. So check it out. Sale date, January 7th. Remember, the sale is the first Tuesday of every month. So this is a sale that's coming up. We're actively researching a whole bunch of these properties. We've purchased well over 50 properties just at this sale over the years. And lots of our students and people who watch this channel buy these properties as well. So as I mentioned, buy a house for as little as $7,000. We're going to look at properties here and we want to search, find something where the opening bid is under $7,000 and worth, double, triple, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the thing that I want you to keep in mind is we're looking at these properties, right? So these are auction properties coming up. So what I love about tax lien and deed properties and government auctions is the fact that when you buy them, the mortgage is wiped out, which is awesome because the taxes are always the priority lien. So it's he who records first has first right. So property taxes, mortgage, property taxes don't get paid. Mortgage company gets notified, hey, pay the taxes or we're foreclosing, you get wiped out, which is why mortgage companies are the #1 redeemer of these property taxes, right? However, things fall through the cracks. Not all properties have mortgages on them, which is why it's awesome. So we obviously need to do your research. So check it out. We're looking here at Harris County. The sale's coming up January 7th. If you're watching this later down the line, just roll it over into the next month and do the same thing. And this will still be relevant here for you today. So here are the tips. Harris County is broken up into 8 precincts, okay, which means it's big. Harris County is a pretty wild auction. You know, Texas being the Wild West, sure enough, they should have one super wild auction. So when you go to a normal tax deed sale, there's normally just one auction going on and you go and you bid and away you go. However, Harris County is a beast. They have 8 precincts, so there can be up to 8 auctions going on at the same time, as you see here in precincts 1 through 8. So what I would do is get the precinct map and figure out which areas you want to go to, because a rookie mistake that you can make is you look at all the properties across 8 precincts and you are just one person. You can't be in 8 places at once. However, you can strategically figure out where to be during the auction and place yourself there. So if you're going at it by yourself, pick 1 or 2 precincts, dial in on those. If you have a team, we cover all 8 precincts and, you know, we talk on walkie-talkies and stuff like that to really figure it out. So keep that in mind. However, this is unique to Texas as far as the precincts go. So one of the first things you want to do here on this page, sort this by adjudged value. So a couple things here. These ones have no account numbers. So this can be a little bit of a gold mine as well, because there's not a lot of details on these properties. And what you can do is see what's going on, because remember, the harder the information is to get, sometimes the more profitable it could be. So there's not really a lot here. Oh, maybe it's a church actually. Maybe it's a church going up for the auction. So that could be interesting. You know, I've bought tons of weird properties at these sales. You know, one of my favorite ones, like I mentioned, I never thought I'd be the owner of a funeral home in Arkansas. It was a funeral home and a limousine business. I bought that thing like $6,100. It was worth 75 grand. Pays me $1,000 per month in rent. Absolutely awesome. So you get some weird properties. I'm going to be checking back with this screen as we go. So if you're watching this with me here today, you can follow along, or if you're watching the replay or watch it all the way through, go back, watch it again and follow along step by step. Because the thing is, you know, no matter how much you watch this stuff, if you don't combine it with action, you know, it's like reading a menu and trying to get full, right? We're in a new year. It's time to take some action, time to set some goals, time to do it, right? Motivation is high. Let's harness that. So check it out. Right now, we just sorted it by a judge value here. This one is showing 6650 Rankin Road in Humble, Texas. So if we look this up, it seems to be perhaps a church maybe, which could definitely be interesting. Here we go. 650 Rankin Road. So this could be something to look into and see what's going on. You know, if I can buy a funeral home, there's a chance you could buy a church. However, our goal here is to buy a cheap house for as little as $7,000. So we're going to come back and we're just going to sort this again by the adjudged value and see what's going on. Okay, so check this out. Winchester Bend, Huffman, Texas. Adjudged value $700,000. Minimum bid $9,600. Now I know we're going to go for $7 grand, but as an investor, we want to see what's going on. Check this one out. Actually, let's just go right to this one. $7,100. Value is $640,000. So the very first thing I do is I click on property details here and I see what's going on. You look at the lot, the block, all that sort of stuff. And we want to come here and just check out. This is basic entry level stuff that you guys can do right now here today to get in the game. So check this out. We have, what do we call it? 2714 Steel Oak Rye, Kingwood, Texas. I'm going to come back here. So, wow, yeah, 600. bucks is the base stuff you can do from home. Harris County is a great auction to go to. And in fact, advanced folks that go through our training. Oh, did we lose it here? Okay, we're back. We're back. I thought we lost the connection. Bear with me. Did we lose it, guys? Okay, we're back. We're back. The connection seemed to cut out, but we are here. So this is why I check the stream. So I'm not sure how long that was gone for, but hopefully you guys are still here. The stream dropped off, but we're still going, okay? That's why I come back and check this screen. So let's go ahead. Let's dive into this right now. Again, so we're checking out this property here in Texas, and it is 2714 Stanley Oak Street, Kingwood, Texas, okay? So we're coming over here, checking the screen because it already cut out once. I don't want it to cut out again. We're checking it out. It's worth $600,000, okay? So we look at this, and this is the basics and the intro to the business as far as getting into it. Now we look over here. The opening bid on this property is just $7,100, $7,136. So I'm going to come back to this screen here for a minute because it cut out. So rewind or fast forward if you guys are still watching this. And what I want to do on this property, we're going to go to Zillow. We want to take the details, see what it's worth. Now, the opening bid is $7,000. So what I want you guys to realize is that this thing could get bid up. Obviously, it's going to. Who knows? There's a chance this property gets bid up to $600,000, okay? And there's a chance that maybe it goes for opening bid. This is the beauty of tax lien and deed investing. Now, one of the big mistakes folks make is what do they call it? They analyze this whole business based on one or two scenarios. Maybe they go to one auction and they're like, you know what, this thing's all BS because, I went to one auction and everything got bid up. That's not how this works. For example, in Texas, say you go every single month and it takes you, 3 days. Like this auction coming up, we leave on a Saturday, we arrive in Texas Saturday, we look at property Sunday and Monday, okay? Full days. We try to look at 80, 90 properties. And then on Tuesday, we go bid, all right? Now, the thing is worst case scenario, you go, you learn a lesson. Best case scenario, you get a property. Sometimes these go for opening bid. We've got them for opening bid. People who watch this channel have purchased them for opening bid as well. And that's why we love this game of tax lien and deed investing. So if we're getting into this, if you're just joining us, if you like this stuff, do me a favor, subscribe. If you want to get cheap properties, go ahead, subscribe, do a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing, and ask me a question in the comments if this is something that you are interested in. So we're going to come back to my screen. We're going to continue to just do a little bit more due diligence here on this property. And remember, this stuff is the basics as far as getting into it. So what I would do is put this in a research sheet. I'd copy and paste it. I'd save it, right? So what you want to do is figure out your budget. Like if you only have $7,000, then basically you'll exclude anything with an opening bid of over $7,000. So one of the other things that I like to do is I like to come over to Rentometer and just see what this thing would rent out for and check the rents. So we're coming over to Rentometer here. What was the details on this property? And this is just part of the research as far as seeing what you are looking at. Like this is the basic introduction to it. And this is how all tax lien and deed investors go ahead. So I want to see what this property is going to rent out for. And I'm super paranoid now that the stream is going to drop, but it still seems to be here. So that is great. So let's see what this thing could rent out for as far as a 4-bedroom, baths. It was 1+ type of building house. Let's check the rents here, see what's going on as far as what this property could rent for. So average $2,500 actually seems pretty low as far as that goes, especially on a $600,000 property. It could go for quite a bit more. So let's come back to the good stuff here on the list. And by the way, I just want to mention that if you guys like tax liens and deeds, if you want to start getting into some super cheap property, or at least have the best chance possible, I really believe tax liens and deeds to be one of the best ways to absolutely do that. Okay. So somebody's saying here, he talks a lot, but haven't seen how we find a deed or lien. That's what we're doing here right now, Jay. We are finding a deed and a lien. So remember, I think you're a bit mixed up. We have tax liens, we have tax deeds. So there's an auction coming up in Harris County, literally in the next couple days. So appreciate the comment. And yeah, you talk a lot. That's what YouTube is, right? You come on and you talk. So I'm going to do my best to convey the point. And obviously, if you don't like the channel, that's fine. You don't have to watch. Watch people you like. That's totally up to you. Come back to the properties here, and I appreciate all the good comments as well. And you know, if somebody took the time to leave a negative comment, that's up to them as well. You know, maybe they have a better way to do it. I would love to hear about it in the comments, but the track record would be great as far as that goes. So coming back here to the name of the game, as far as buying some of these cheap properties for yourself, we want to be looking and doing a comprehensive analysis. But the first thing you need to be doing is doing your research on these properties on the most basic way. So we're coming back here. We're going to scroll some more down, right? So here we go. Opening bid, 11,000 bucks. Value is 539. Oh, let's check this one out, right? We want to be under 7,000 bucks. So this Lantern Road, 15102 Lantern Creek. Okay, so we're going to click here. We want to see the details on this property. Let's see here. Opening bid, 6,000 bucks. The judged value is 416,095 bucks for this property is the opening bid. So super simple. Come back over to Zillow, paste the address on the property, and see what's going on with this. So we're going to be looking at this property here basically over the weekend coming up, and we're going to be bidding on it as well. We will be taking a solid swing on this property, and there are plenty of these properties for you guys to bid on. So yeah, Zillow has it at $409,000 here. Obviously a good deal, right? So as we come back, let's talk about some of the pros and cons. And once again, if you guys like this stuff, do me a favor, thumbs up, subscribe if you like it, ask a question in the comments. I will get to all of the questions as well here as we go, and I will be answering questions. All right. So we're looking at this property here, this Lantern Creek property. So 409,000 bucks. Let's see, 55. So check this out. Their HOA. So there's HOA fees, and this brings up an extremely important thing that I want you guys to note. And one of the very important things in Texas, if you're going to go to this auction, you need to realize is the following. Okay. Homeowner association properties have fees, and they do foreclosures as well on their properties. And the same sheriff will auction them off. Okay. And the thing is about an HOA property is the fact that the mortgage doesn't get wiped out. So if the property is worth $400,000, you see an opening bid of $7,000 and you don't research or do anything that we talk about on this channel, sure, maybe you think it's, you know, oh, opening bid was $7,000 and you got it for 50, you know, you think you got a good deal, but that's just the homeowner association fees. Maybe it has a mortgage. Homeowner association fees don't wipe out the mortgage. Okay. So that's one of the things that we really help people do as far as figuring that stuff out. And for anybody who ever wants to join one of these trips, like I started doing live in-person auction trainings back in the day, like 18, 19 years ago, and we still do it. So we have one we're doing here on the 7th. Obviously it's full, but if you guys ever want to join my team on one of these trips, we go through the list, we search all the title, we really do everything. And then you come join us. It's a small group, you know, 10, 15 people. There's a link in the description if you want to join one of these trips. You'll land on a page that looks like this. I have a video going over all of the details for the trip. You can come join us. This isn't a seminar where you sit in a room. It is an in-person experience where we take you by the hand. You can even bid on properties. We help pull the list and curate it specifically for you based on your needs. So there's a link in the description if you want to join us. I join these trips a lot as well, but we built them over the years. It's awesome. Or what you can do is scan this QR code here on the screen right now. And this will take you right to this page here where you can come and join us on one of these trips. So they're super small. We really put a lot of effort into the trips to helping people get property, and we're bidding right along with you guys as well. Appreciate all the comments and everybody here hopping on. We'll get into some questions in a minute. Appreciate all the good comments. Let's see. Yeah, watched the CEO saying here, watch my good friend acquire his first auction. Single family homes. Appreciate all the comments. Let's see. What was the website? Joined late. So the website that we are on here right now is just the simple Harris County tax deed auction site. So if you just go Google Texas tax deed sale, so it's hctax.net, properties listings for sale. So our goal here is to find some cheap property. Check this one out. This one here is $891, opening bid valued at $378,000. I'm going to come here and once again, get familiar with the details. Click on the property descriptions and read through things. Read the case file, start going through things. One of the biggest things that you need to be aware of is municipal liens on the property. All right. So I thought I was sharing my screen here, but I'm not. So check it out. So when we come back over here, we come over here to this site, you want to go through this stuff. And one of the big things you want to be aware of is city liens on the property. So we want to come through this. We want to see what's going on, which jurisdictions, can't speak very well, as you know. And we want to see what's going on. So we want to read the details here. Condition, very good. As far as the building goes, central heat, very good. We're looking down here. You want to get familiar with all of this stuff. And the big thing, like we'd mentioned, you can click on a lot of this stuff and really see what's going on. You can look at the property value, but the very important thing that you want to do as a new investor is get the rules to the auctions. And a lot of the times you can come over here and those details will be up on this page as far as that goes. So we're on this site here, hctax.net, which is the way to go. And the rules, if you go type Texas tax deed rules, Harris County rules, things like that, will come up. So let's talk about why the sale coming up here is going to be, in my opinion, a very good sale coming up at the first sale of the year. So this is one of my favorite times to get involved and start going to these auctions. And here's the reason why, because it's the first auction of the year. The odds are really in your favor when it comes to buying property at the first auction. Now, the odds can be in your favor as long as you stick with it and stay consistent as well. The odds can be in your favor. However, what I want to share with you here some of the reasons that I like about tax lien and deed investing. So after the holidays or after any holiday, tax lien and deed investing will be much less competitive because you have people who focus on their holiday commitments, the travel, which can mean lower bid prices, less competition, and more property at the sale. Okay. So that's super important when you're going to these, especially the beginning of the year when you have Christmas and New Year's. People spend money on Christmas gifts, travel, which is great. You know, a lot of people might go delinquent because they blew all their money on Christmas partying. So that's one reason why I really like going to these auctions after a holiday. So now is the time for yourself to get into this business, right? Like you've probably been watching YouTube for years without taking a lot of action, right? If you're like me, you know, it's easy to get paralysis by analysis or just like kill time by scrolling on the internet, right? Now there's all sorts of ways. There's wholesaling, flipping, commercial real estate. I truly believe tax liens and deeds to be the best way to get started in real estate because of the low barrier to entry. Like you can get some of these properties literally for as little as $50. They could be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. So we have people who watch this video or watch this stuff and maybe they only have a couple $100. You can buy something for a couple $100 and sell it for a few thousand and then build your way up into some of these bigger, more expensive properties and start flipping them. So for anybody here joining us, welcome. We're looking at the Texas auctions coming up through the first Tuesday of every month. Right now, we're looking at Harris County. We're going to be bidding on some great properties coming up there. If you have some questions, do me a favor, ask them. I'm going to go through questions here momentarily, and we will dive into a lot of this stuff here with you live. I'm just doing a system check, which is great. And the important thing, sometimes you can't watch this and follow along at the same time. So you can go back, watch it in a separate window, follow along and pause, when I'm doing this, or watch it at 2x, however you like to do this sort of stuff. Now, Texas is one of my favorite places for tax deed investing. Okay. So let's talk about why we like Texas. So first off, Texas is a hybrid state. So it's a deed state, but it has some tax lien characteristics. So for example, in a tax lien state, you pay the taxes for somebody, you can get interest rate of up to 36%. Like for example, in Illinois, the interest rate can be as high as 36%, 18% every 6 months, which is very cool. However, you have to wait a couple years to get your interest. Whereas in Texas, you buy the property. If it's vacant or a renter, you get access to it that day, you get the deed. However, there is a 6-month redemption period on that deed, which means the homeowner has up to 6 months to come and basically pay what you bid for the property plus 25% interest. And because of that, 99% of the time you get the property and you can be renting it out, which is great. You just can't sell it for 6 months. Okay. So that's super important. Now, the other key thing to keep in mind is the fact that be aware of properties that have what's called homestead exemption. Homestead exemption means maybe they own the property for, 20 years, or it's been in the family. Maybe they served in the military or have some sort of, they've applied for a special condition that allows them to basically have a 2-year redemption on the tax deed. So we stay away from homestead property just because it takes too long. Okay. Your money could be tied up for up to 2 years. So once again, for anybody joining here, if you ever want to join us on one of these trips, I'm one of the only people out there that do live in-person Texas tax deed trips. So, if you've tried everything, if you want to get into real estate with the hand holding, in my opinion, seminars are pretty useless because you just sit in a seminar and they pitch you from the stage the whole time. We've actually had students on our trip buy property and flip it on the auctions. Now, we don't promise that, but it is a testament to how powerful it is to, rather than going to a seminar, go to a live tax deed auction with folks who want to train you and teach you how to do it. We're bidding on property. We pull the list for you, all that sort of stuff. We really do all the work. So if you want to do that, there's a link below in the description. You'll land on a page that looks like this, and I give you all the details of the trip. So please watch it. And if you're interested, you can book a call. We can tell you all about it. So January is obviously full because it's coming up here in the next couple of days. February is filling up as well because it's not a seminar. We do, 10 to 15 people, and it's a great time. It's super small group. We can take you by the hand, which is awesome. So here's a QR code. If you want to scan it, it'll take you to the page, or you can take a screenshot on your phone or with your, whatever device you're looking at. Save this page. It's also in the description below for these trips. Like I mentioned, we've bought well over 50 of these properties over the years at the Texas tax deed sale, and then we've helped thousands of students do it. So if you want to come join us on one of these trips, it's totally awesome. I join them sometimes as well, but I have an amazing team of people who lead these trips. So on with the show as far as finding properties that are coming up. We were looking at some of these details, and remember, this is the entry point to the, let's see here, just making sure it's working. It cut out earlier. So if you guys are wondering why I always come back to this screen, if it's annoying, it's because it cut out earlier. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on this stuff, which is great. Let's see here. Quick question coming in. Is a tax deed property I can get ownership after the auction? Remember, whenever you go to a tax deed auction, you have the deed, you get the ownership pretty much right after the auction. Okay. So you get your winning bid and then you go register the winning bid, and then they will send you the deed in the mail. However, effective that day, you are the new owner, which, bringing another important factor into this equation, as soon as you win a bid at a tax deed sale, you want to put property insurance on it. We use Farmer Brown's insurance because say you win a property at the auction and, there's a fire, it burns down or gets vandalized. You want to make sure your investment is protected. So Farmer Brown's insurance is the way to go for you to do this and protect that investment, because we wouldn't want to have anything happen. They insure tax lien and deed properties. So let's keep looking. We want to find these properties under 7,000 bucks. We're doing the entry level stuff. So we came in here, we sorted it by precinct, judged value. And basically you keep going through the list. Okay. So this one, opening bid, 5,446 bucks. It is Chestnut Street. We come over here, and what I do is I save all of this in a spreadsheet. Okay. So we'll come in here, we'll check it out. We'll see what's going on this property. So the value is $370,000. Looks like a pretty good property. And then the next thing you can do is come over to Google Street View. Okay. So check out this Street View. This is important. And what we want to be doing is seeing when the last picture of the property was. Okay, so check it out. Wow, November 2024. This is awesome. This picture was just taken. Okay, so this is, man, this is super like within the last basically month and a bit. So this is a pretty accurate representation of what this property looks like, which is awesome. So we want to take a look around in the neighborhood. We want to see what's going on. It looks like a great neighborhood that I'd be interested in buying property in. So I'm going to put this on my list. In fact, it is already on our list that we're going to go look at. So as we look at this property, and this is all basic research, and I want to share with you a mistake that I've seen people make that you can avoid so that you don't screw up. Okay. So one of the big mistakes people make is they just go off of the image that's on Google. So that image that we just looked at, as far as the November 2024, that is a fairly new image of the property. So we can be pretty safe. But one of the mistakes people make is what they do is they go on their phone or they look at the property and they don't realize the image is 5 or 6 years old. They show up at the auction and they bid online and they buy something that has been burnt down. It's been burnt to the ground or it's in a flood zone. I've seen people do this so many times and they're just amateurs and rookies. Okay. So you want to avoid that. So a couple things. A, if you know somebody in the area, send them to go look at it. B, if you're in the area, then go for yourself and go look at it. The nice thing with this stuff these days is you can do it remotely from home. However, Harris, you do need to be there in person, but there are tons of other auctions that you can do online. So for example, a lot of our students will go to the Harris County sale, but at the same time, they'll be on their phone and on their tablet going on other Texas auctions online as well. So they're really doing like 4 or 5 auctions at the same time, which is great. So what I love about government seized property, Texas property, tax liens and deeds is you work hard for a couple days. Okay. So if you're working your job and you want to get out of it, the Texas sale is always the first Tuesday of the month. So basically you start keeping an eye on the auction, the couple weeks building, and about the week before you start to dial in on that list and see what's going to come up. Because remember, most of these properties will redeem before the auction. All right. So for example, we always like to have, ideally 100 properties to go look at in 2 days. So for example, we're going to Texas. Some of you guys might see us or our team there at this coming up auction. And what we do is whenever we fly somewhere to go look at property, we want to have at least, up to 100 properties because we're going to look at 100 properties over 2 days. It's going to be busy. It's going to be hard work. This stuff isn't a pill that you swallow to get rich. Let me know if you have one of those because, I'd be down, hook it up. But for now, this is as close as we can get to, it's not a pill, but it can be a great way to create wealth for yourself in real estate. So coming back to how this works is you arrive. So basically we arrive on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we look at properties all day. Monday, we go into the county office, we pull up the records, and it's nice to go into the county office. And then Tuesday morning, and we're updating the list. So Monday, we update the list, we see who's redeemed. So if we have 100 properties, by the day of the auction, we're going to be left with, anywhere between 10 to 20 properties that we're going to bid on because people redeem last minute. It is human nature. All right. So as far as yourself putting together a plan, compared to things that you do in your life, this stuff doesn't take that long. Even if you went to a Texas auction every single month and say you only had, a success rate of 1 in 5 auctions where you get a good deal, you could still have a chance at making $100,000 or $200,000, even if you strike out at the other auctions, because with this stuff, it's not a matter of if you get deals, just a matter of when, as long as you stick with it. But the challenge and the problem these days is most folks just have way too much shiny object syndrome, and people, quite frankly, have forgotten how to put in hard work. So this stuff is, in my opinion, as easy as it gets for real estate. Put in an hour or two a day. So we're going to do some Q&A here in a second. If you guys are liking this, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up on the video, subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot more of these live streams, exposing different states, different counties. We're going to have some auction maps coming up for everybody as well. Let's see here. You like the hat? Much appreciated, Robert. Shelley, appreciate the comments. Let's see here. Great information. Oh, what's this here? Nice. You want some boar hunting land, 2 to 4 acres. Yeah, absolutely. Boar hunting in Texas is apparently you can like go up in a helicopter, because obviously, if you don't know, boars are a big pest in Texas. They, I think they even like kill a certain amount of people every year. They ruin crops, all this sort of stuff. They are pest control in Texas. So that wouldn't be too hard to find a boar hunting spot. Let's see here. What is the link for ordering the book? So as you guys know, where's the book? I don't have it behind me, but I give away a book as far as to teach everybody to get started, which is why someone's asking. However, that link would be below any other video except this one. Where is the book? Let me grab it here. Oh, here we go. So this book is a book that we give away to help people get started. Normally, I have the link below the video. However, today I don't, but it is below every other video and a link in the the main description. Today, what we're chatting about is obviously finding these properties. But if you guys do want to join me and my team at a live Texas auction, where basically what we do is we go through the whole list for you. We get your budget, we pull out the properties that you're interested in, we do all the research for you as well. And then you come and meet us at one of these sales, we take you by the hand, and it really is one of the only opportunities to learn by doing, instead of being stuffed into a seminar room like a bunch of cattle. Okay. So from here, check it out. If you guys are interested in joining one of those trips, what you can do is there's a link below in the description, and click it. It will take you to this page. It'll tell you all about the 3 days. First Tuesday of every month, obviously. January is full. So that link's in the description. Learn about the trips. It's pretty much one of the only in-person real estate trainings where you can have a chance at buying property. From there, take a screenshot of this QR code or a snapshot or a picture with your phone, and it will take you to this page. You can watch the video, book a call, and possibly come join us on one of these trips. It is, in my opinion, one of the best ways to get started. Because the thing is, like, when I got started in this business, man, 20 years ago, the crazy thing is, like, it was super lonely. I was watching, believe it or not, VHS tapes on how to do this stuff in my parents' basement, like 22 years ago, I think it is now. Yeah, 21, 22 years ago. I'm watching VHS tapes, and I went to a seminar. After the seminar, you have no communication with the person who does the event. They're up on the stage. You can't even talk to them. They're swarmed by people. So what's super cool about this is we get to interact. And, I try to give away as much information to get you guys started. Let's see here. So Danny's got a question. Once again, I appreciate everybody joining here. Asking questions. Let's see. If you win an auction and you go to the house and there's people living in it, how do you get them out? So this is a very, very good question. So you're going to run across a couple scenarios. First off, most of the properties are generally going to be vacant, which is great. Well, I don't know. Let's say 60, 70% of them will be vacant, which is awesome. At a Texas sale, if you win the bid that day, you can put a renter in it, start collecting rent on that property, because like I say, most of the time they don't redeem. However, I would say the other percentages of the time, you're either going to have a renter in the property or the homeowner still lives in the property. So here's how we deal with this situation, which is a very good question, because if you get one of these properties, it's very important to deal with it in the right way. First off, let's say, and this is what we do. We look at these properties. So for example, let's use an example here. Let's say we bought this property on my screen here. So we're going to share the screen. Where'd we go here? Okay, so it's the day of the auction. Okay, we got this property here, Lantern Creek, and let's say we go and we just get a smoking deal on this thing, and we pick it up for, choose your number that you get it for. Good deal though. You're going to make at least $100,000 on this property, and what's going to happen? The very first thing, go and talk to the homeowner or find out if it's a renter. Okay. So if you go to this property, this Lantern property, where did it go? Share my screen. It did close, but we'll go through the steps here anyway. So what you're going to do, you're going to knock on the door. You're going to say, you'll have the owner's name, address. If the owner's name is a man, if it's Dave, say, hey, Dave, Dustin Hahn. And, I'm sure, as there are some issues with the property. And if they say, I'm not Dave, I'll say, is Dave home? No, there's no Dave here. And, oh, I see, you're the renter. And then they say, yes, actually, I rent this property. In that situation, you have your paperwork with you. You show them the taxes, your rent hasn't been paying the property taxes. All right. So your rent has not been paying the property taxes. And I'm now the new owner in this situation. So what you can do is get the details, say, listen, if you're happy renting, you can keep renting. Ask them, what are you paying for rent right now? Oh yeah. I pay, $1,800 per month or $2,000 or whatever that is. You can say, well, I'm the new landlord now. You can write me a check, or, I'll give you a month free. We'll get everything switched over. There's been times where we've bought property in Texas. 2 hours later, we got the first rent check. We've had this happen with ourselves and some of the students who have joined on this trip before. So that's pretty cool. So that's how you deal with it. If it is a renter who wants to stay and you want to keep it for that residual income, or, you give them notice and say, hey, sorry, bad situation. You have 30 days, 60 days to move out based on the circumstance. Next scenario. And by the way, if you guys like this stuff, if you like what we're talking about, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe. We're going to be doing lots of these lives. We've got a lot of great fun videos coming up. This is one of the best ways to get started in real estate in 2025. If you're working hard, as you know, inflation's getting out of control. Everyday living expenses are just getting squeezed. Like, no longer, in my opinion, can you really work your way out of the situation we're in by putting in more hours. Like, you need a way, and creative real estate is a great way to do that. Like, I used to think 10 grand a month back in the day was a good living as far as being able to live comfortably. But now, man, I want to say it's like 15 plus if you want to be even doing a trip or traveling. So real estate is a great way to get into it. I know you guys are watching this on YouTube, but really make 2025 the year where you're actually going to do something. You're not just going to passively watch and not do something. Like, I know it feels good watching these videos. We have some fun. We answer some questions, but there's no point watching it if you don't actually do something. You know what I mean? So for every video you watch, you should have like a 3-to-1 ratio. Watch this, go back, follow along, and actually do it is key. We do give the book away, which has all of the other steps that you can take, like the property evaluation sheets, all of that sort of stuff, but actually do it, right? Come back to the next scenario. You go to the auction, you win the bid. The homeowner's in the property now. If it's Dave, Dave is on the title of the property. Say, hey, Dave, I'm Dustin. As we know, there's some issues that happen with the property. And he's like, oh yeah, I know. Say, you can play some good cop, bad cop in the sense of, say, listen, Dave, terrible situation. You have to be empathetic. They just lost their house, right? And say, obviously it's a tough situation. I want to work with you. I'm the one who purchased the property. There's a couple options available to you right now. Option one is to do nothing. And in this situation, the sheriff's probably, going to come and do an eviction, and it's messy. They show up, they start moving things out, and it's just very embarrassing. I don't want that to happen. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this. This is important. What I like to do is tell them about the overage available on their property in the states that they're in. So like if the opening bid is 10 grand, like for the taxes, anything above that, they can also go and claim the overage, but they're not aware of that. So say it's $10,000 opening bid, say it sells for 50. That means they can go and collect, up to $40,000, depending on situation. So say, hey, you might have 40 grand available. You can go and claim that and go start a new life, and that's what I tell them to do. There's a whole business on collecting overages and this and that, but I really don't like it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's just not my thing. This is a much better way to go into it. So in that situation, you can say, listen, I want to help you in this situation. A, can you be out of the property in 30 days? If they say yes, perfect. Let them get out of the property. If they say, well, I don't have any money to get out of the property, this is when we do we call it a cash for keys situation. What we say is like, all right, I understand that. If I gave you $1,000, could you be out of the property in 30 days if I helped you with the expense? If they say, sure. So, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'll give you 500 today, and I'll give you the other 500 when I see that you've, left the property and you haven't damaged the property. So you might need to work with that number a little bit. In our years of doing this and hundreds of properties, I think we've only really done like 2 evictions where the sheriff has come and, they move everything out and, that's how it goes. So once again, guys, if you're just joining us, we're now going to go through some of the questions. So if you have some questions, you can put them in the comments or if you're live, you can put them there now. We're going to dive into those. If you're rewatching this, put them in the comments. We see those. We answer them there as well. If you like this stuff, hit the thumbs up. And remember, for anybody watching, we are now doing live auction trips. So if you want to have a chance at buying some of these properties, and we can do basically most of the work for you. We pull the list, we do the research. You can come join us at a live auction. There's a link below in the description. It'll take you to this page. And the first Tuesday of every month is the Texas auction. So you can come join us. We take a small group of people. There's a video on the next page. You can watch it. You can book a call, and we can talk about having you come join us at an auction. We'll take you by the hand. We'll pull the properties. It's super fun. It's a very small group. It's not a seminar. Some of our students get properties on these training trips, and we pull the title for you. We walk you through everything to try to condense several years of trial and error. If you don't want to, if you want to skip basically kind of shortcut some things and learn quickly. Some of you guys are capable of learning on your own, which is totally great. We support that as well. There's lots of information, but if you want to come join a trip, that's there. There's also a QR code here. You can scan it, screenshot it. It'll take you to this page. You can get more information about joining a live auction. Click if you want to attend. And basically from there, you simply just book a call, you chat with us, and we see if it is a fit. So we have 11 spots coming up for the next one. January is sold out. Coming back to it. Yeah, information is knowledge. Obviously, you need to implement on that is super, super important. And that's in the description below. So let's bang through some of these questions here. Somebody is saying, okay, coming into the questions. Oh, let's see. Oh, we got somebody coming on the February trip. Awesome, Sadie. Wicked. We can't wait to see you on the trip. Super pumped to have you on that trip. It's going to be great. Let's see here. So, and I think we do have some spaces for February. So if anybody wants to join, you can come on that February trip. The link is below in the description. Let's see. How often have you lost money on one bid on a house that burnt down or flooded? You know what? As far as losing money, I'll tell you the biggest mistakes where we've lost the most money is on rehabs. So as far as I'm concerned, only do rehabs if you have experience or you have a big budget. Now, during COVID, we lost on a couple of rehabs because the cost of things went up. We couldn't be there in person, and just contractors kind of taking advantage of things. And we were doing remote rehabs. Okay. So we did eventually, we did figure out remote rehabs. We've done probably close to 100 of them. But a lot of the times with the tax deed properties, as long as we stick to the formula, buy them cheap, sell them cheap to people who want to fix them up, you're going to be in great shape. We did make a mistake one time. We went to an auction and all of our properties got bid up. We didn't have anything. And a friend of ours was there with us, another trusted investor. He said, there's this house. It's a good deal. He'd spent his money. You guys should buy it. So we took his word for it. We bought it, but he screwed up the address and we bought the wrong property. It ended up being a piece of land. It was like 6 acres. I think it was like $5,000 bucks. We did manage to break even and get our money back from that. So as far as things being burnt down and flooded, that's why we go and we look in person at the property. That's why it's super important to go in person and look at the properties, or send somebody, or if you're doing this stuff remotely on the phone, here is, what do you call it? App called TaskRabbit. Okay. You can see that here. Whoop, TaskRabbit. So you can actually get somebody to go take photos of the property if you're doing this stuff remotely. So if anybody's just joining, we did look at some super cheap properties, low as $7,000. Some of these worth hundreds of thousands. So go back to the beginning, watch it, follow along, and you will see. From there, somebody's saying, can you use a credit card? Texas, you cannot use a credit card. Okay. There are places like in Michigan, other states that do allow you to use a credit card to buy these, which is awesome. However, you can get a 0 interest credit card, do a cash advance, and go buy that way. Is something that that can be done as well. Obviously, be responsible. Wow, we got a lot of good questions. Welcome, everybody. So we're going to spend the next little bit here going through questions. If you like it, thumbs up. Let's see. Going to the tax auction in Georgia. What do I look out for? Yeah, remember, what you look out for is the city municipal liens. All right. So, for example, things like, if the county's been cutting the grass or removing trash and collecting, they've been hiking up interest on the unpaid, what do you call it? For cutting the grass, right? The county is not going to wipe out their own lien. So we saw a property, it had like a $50,000 lien on it. They were cutting the grass. That wiped out the profit. However, the tax sale does wipe out mortgages. So look out for that stuff. Okay. Let's see. Can you show a property? Can you show an example of property you would not buy on the current list? Okay. Yeah. Let's pop over here super quick. Back to the show. And once again, if you guys want to join me on one of these live auctions, there's a link below in the descriptions. It's 3 days. It's awesome. We have a ton of fun. And we help you go, and if you're interested in bidding. So the most important thing that you want to look for is property that's like funky. Let's see here. Let's come over here. We don't really have a lot of pictures, but man, there's lots of properties. Look at this. Opening bid $6,000, value $350. Opening bid $800, value $351. Opening bid $1,000, value $327. Opening bid $6,400, value $325,000. So this is an example here. You see how this says canceled? As we get closer to the sale, this list will get more and more canceled because people pay their taxes last minute. However, the sale coming up can be great because it is after a holiday. So we're expecting some good stuff. Let's see here. Somebody's looking for an example of something that we wouldn't want to purchase. It would be a little cumbersome right now. However, what I'll do is I'll just share with you what it means of what to avoid. What you really want to avoid is like landlocked property, or, we're big fans of buying super cheap lots and land. But don't buy stuff that's in the middle of the desert in Nevada. Don't buy stuff that's landlocked, stuff like that. See what's around it. I like buying things, either big farmland or acreages, basically property that is of value. I really like small lots and things like that in town and stuff like that. So let's see. Somebody here is mentioning how much is the auction training trip. So we really tried to build a custom plan for you based on your goals and things like that. So you can go visit the link, book a call, and we can discuss that. Let's see. Do you need any lawyers from this? So whenever someone says that, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not giving legal advice, right? That's a pretty sweet hat there as well. But here's what we do. We use a company called Tax Title Services, and they will help us do any type of title clearing or deal with any issues of title. Now, the cool thing is when you buy this stuff, it does wipe out the mortgage. However, we need to get a warranty deed if you want to sell it to somebody who's going to use financing on the property. So when you buy it at a tax deed sale, a lot of the times it is, quit claim deed type thing. And basically, if somebody's going to put financing on it, they need to know that they're getting a super clean title. So Tax Title Services is generally around, I think it's $2,000. They'll get you a clean title, guarantee, warranty deed, all that sort of stuff, which is great. Now, the question comes up is, if it's a super cheap property for a couple $100, we don't use them. Stick to the quick claim deed, make a couple $1,000 and be on your way. If you guys are tuning in and you like this stuff, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you like it. And it's going to be a great year, 2025. We're going through the questions. Let's see, going to the auction in Georgia. Any advice for your first day? Yeah. Obviously do your research, go through the list and look for those liens. Is it a good idea to create an LLC? Obviously, yeah, at some point you want to create an LLC to protect your assets. You don't want to, work super hard and then get sued and have somebody take it. So limited liability company helps you protect your assets. For myself personally, what I did when I got started was I bought it in my own name, then formed the LLC, and then moved it over into there. All right. What's the best way to get a property sold after the winning bid? So check this out, okay? A lot of times folks will go to one of these sales and they'll be like, boo, everything got bid up to market value. Boo, you were just in a room with people who were paying cash market value for properties that they overpaid for. You know what you do? You network. You get their name, their phone number, their details. You have an instant cash buyer list and a relationship built. It's so funny when people are like, oh, everything got bid up. It was a bad sale. This doesn't work. It's like you just went to a room full of people who had cash buyers. Go find them that property before the auction and sell it to them for 70% of market value and make money there. That is one of the best ways to do. So when you get the winning bid, network, you can go and see who bought at the other auctions. You can contact realtors, other investors. Good way to go. Let's see here. Tuning in. If you're here for the first time, it's Dustin Hahn. The channel here is to help everybody get going. If you're joining late, you can go back to the beginning and follow along. I think the video cut out at one point, so just skip that section. Is there any regulation to how high the bid can go? What is the main advantage of bidding high over minimum? So do you think the government would turn down an overbid? So there's no regulation of how high you can go. The main advantage of doing, like we call it, like a bid jump is to, basically do a little strut in the room, right? So if the opening bid's 1,000 and you're like, I bid 15, people know that you have money and you're going to bid, and it can discourage other people from bidding against you. So, that can be a psychological play to go out there and do. So we'll do that sometimes as well. Especially if it's like, say it's the property here that we just looked at. If it's worth $300,000, the opening bid's 7, and I boom out of the gate, 80 grand. People know that I can bid at least 80. So if they see me bidding on other property, like, oh man, this guy knows more, they're going to back out. So there's a psychological game there, as well, as far as that goes. And obviously the bigger the cowboy hat you wear, the more you bid. Let's see here. Really every month? Yes, absolutely. Kathy is saying here, how do you go on the live trips? Details, please. Kathleen. So once again, folks, if you guys are joining and if you ever want to come on one of these live trips, I got sick of real estate seminars back in the day. You go there, you feel good for 2 or 3 days. They try to pitch you more stuff. And then from there, basically what happens is you don't do anything. You go back, you go to the seminar for 3 days, your life piles up, you get home, you catch up, months go by, you don't ever do anything. So what I do is something different. We bring a small group of people on a live trip to the Lone Star State of Texas. We come bid with you. So if you guys are interested on joining one of these trips, there is a link below in the description. Click that link and you will land on this page. You can watch the video here. It has all of the details for the trip. First Tuesday of every month. The trips are always, you arrive on a Saturday. We look at property. Sunday, Monday, the auction's Tuesday. It is a heck of a good time. Some of our students buy property on the trip. But the cool thing and the advantage of joining one of these trips is myself and my team, we go through all of the properties. We pull all the title reports. We do all of that, and we walk you through it as we go. And our goal is to try to save you some time, some trial and error. Are these trips for everybody? No. If you want to go and read the book and do it all yourself, that's fine. Or, if you want to come join a trip, that's totally it as well. So you can scan the QR code as well. Scan this, you'll go to the call book page. You can speak with us and we can discuss the trip details. January is fully sold out. February is almost full as well. So go ahead and check out those details in the description below. We appreciate the question here. Question. Do you do all of your titles? Do you quiet all of your titles? So no, bit of confusion. You don't need to do a quiet title. When you buy the tax deed sale, basically all the notices have been sent out. You do a quiet title in a situation, if something's being disputed, maybe in a foreclosure situation, but we do not do quiet titles. Tax Title Services does that as well. Let's see. Polly's saying, yeah, contractors are scammers sometimes, even if you do. Yeah, exactly. So, that's my warning. If you buy a property, say it's worth 100 grand and you get it for 20,000 bucks and you think, man, this thing's worth 100,000 bucks. I want every single penny, right? And you bring in contractors and they make mistakes. The problem is you're then competing with all of the beautiful houses that people have lived in, their pride and joy for years. So you're competing, people want, if you're asking full market value, that thing better be mint, as opposed to, you get the property. I don't remember the number I just said, but if you can sell it to basically a fix and flipper for 70 or 60 cents on the dollar, and they can still make 10 or 20 grand, that's way better way to go. It's way better to get something cheap, sell it cheap. You buy it, you make 10, 50 grand. The next person can make more money as well. There's that saying, you want the fast bucks, not the last bucks, is the way to go. Let's see. Weird sauce. Do I dare ask what that means? Family friendly channel, folks. Is it true more or less than if a property doesn't sell at the auction, there's probably something wrong with it? Yes and no. Remember, that's called a government seized property and over the counter. Yes, there's a reason most of them didn't sell at the property, but sometimes there's reasons they didn't sell. Sometimes there's good properties that didn't sell. So for example, one of our students basically they bid on a property and they didn't get it. However, the person that won the bid, they couldn't come through with their payment. So they went and did a resale, and they ended up getting a property. I don't remember the numbers, but it's easily 90% below market value. So there's numerous reasons why a good property will be in there. That's called an over-the-counter property. And obviously it takes some elbow grease to do it. But where else can you buy a property for as little as 50 bucks, flip it for a couple $1,000 and build your way up? There's nowhere else. And that's where some of these over-the-counter properties are a great way to get started. Looks like Paul had a tough time. Frozen pipes on his property. Yeah, no fun, no fun. Let's see, moving on here. Yeah, and these trips are awesome. Like as far as if you want to come join one of our trips, there's people who charge, $50,000, $100,000 for a mastermind. What's cool about these trips is if you come, it's all people ready to invest. So you have an instant network of investors that you can team up with, which is totally awesome. A lot of great friends and business relationships formed there. So once again, if you're tuning in, if you like this stuff, hit a thumbs up, subscribe if you like it. From there, if you are interested in joining one of these live trips, there's a link in the description below. Click it, book a call, you can chat, you'll land on this page. Watch the video, learn about the trip. I go through all of the details here as far as that goes. And the cool thing is, yes, it's in Texas, but the skills you learn will be applicable in tax liens and tax deed states. You can go. We want to teach you how to fish, right? So you can fish anywhere you want. You can scan the QR code here, and that QR code will take you to that page. Screenshot it or whatever fancy way of getting there you want to go. And, whether it's, obviously we go to Texas, so we do all the work, we pull it, and then help you get started to do this. Let's see. Brenda is saying, do you buy in that LLC name? Correct. Yes, you do buy in that LLC name. Actually, you just reminded me of a mistake that I made when I was 20 years old, over 20 years ago. I bought a property in the name of an LLC that I was about to form. I hadn't been to many auctions. I bought the property in the name of the LLC I was about to form. And it doesn't work that way, because then anybody could just your neighbor's house, you just create the LLC in the name of your neighbor's house and be like, I own it now, and sell it. So it doesn't work that way. That was a situation actually where I had to do a quiet title because I screwed up back in the day. So yeah, always buy it in the name that appears on the LLC. Let's see. Can you sell a property during a redemption period? After you won? Technically, yes, you could, but nobody would buy it because it's during the redemption period. Okay. So, technically you could sell it, but, a buyer is going to see that on the title that it's in the redemption period. So probably nobody's going to want to buy it. Okay. Let's see here. Do you need to be at the auction physically? A lot of these auctions are online. A lot of them are physical auctions. All right. So It just depends. So Texas, Harris County, definitely in person, but there are lots of other counties in Texas where you can go and do it online, which is great. And like I mentioned, we have people that go to Texas and then at the same time, they are on their phone and doing other auctions at the same time or on their tablet. So that is a key thing. Let's see. Someone is saying here, where's the link? So I assume you're talking about the link to the live auction trip. So if anybody wants to join that, there's a link below this video. Click the description. It'll open up. It'll take you to a link. You can do that. Or you can come over here and scan this QR code and it will take you there. So screenshot it on your phone right now. Chink, away you go. And it will take you there. You'll come to this page as well and watch the video. You can fill out the details there. And yeah, these auction trips are super fun, super proud of what we put together for these trips there. Let's see. Boom. Okay, yeah, he sees it. Let's see. Do you find better deals at live auctions since they are limited bidders? What's the best value? Man, that's the thing with these auctions is, you know, one time it might be an online auction that works good, and one time it might be in person. The key with this stuff is to stick with it. All right. If you're consistent, you will get deals. Now, once again, like I say, it's not a get rich quick pill, but what I do say is if you stick to it, you will get deals. All right. Especially think about, you know, we're in a new year, do something different, right? Like you are the world champion at being the same version of yourself who you were for the last weeks, months, and years, right? So you need to deliberately get out of your shell. You know, things are getting hard. Things are getting expensive out there. You know, the middle class is being eroded. That magical time in history is now pretty much evaporated, right? There was the golden time from the baby boomers through the 80s and stuff where, you know, people could go and buy a house based off of how much they're working, you know, the American dream. But now it's like it's shifting back to, you know, basically the rich are going to control everything again. Most people will be poor. And the cool thing is you get to decide which side of that fence you want to be on. And real estate, in my opinion, is one of the best ways to do it because, you know, it's pretty black and white. You look at crypto, you look at other investments, you know, crypto or stocks, you don't really have collateral, right? Like when the bank lends money, they want collateral. What is the collateral? I'm going to give you this money. You better show me that I can attach this to something I can take if you screw up, right? However, most people, they chase the crypto, they chase, you know, all this sort of stuff that has no collateral, no control. Meanwhile, banks are taking your money and investing in tax liens as well. So now it's your turn to get started. So guys, if you're watching this stuff, go back to the beginning, watch it, follow along, pause it as I go, do this, start to build your list. This is the introduction that we did today. There are other videos on the channel that go through how to do more in depth on the title. Let's see, one question. If you go to the taxing authority and get an OTC, stands for over the counter property, you pay the back taxes or what the base price was. Okay, it's a good question. So when you guys go to these auctions, find out, make sure what property taxes the winning bid covers, right? Because you could win the bid up to the year of the property taxes delinquency, right? You could have to pay a couple other years property taxes. So find that out because sometimes that's an important detail. So very important to check out. Ask the rules. So when you buy, generally when you buy an over the counter, it brings it right up to speed because the county wants it back on the tax roll. So that is a good question. So once again, folks, if you like this stuff, hit the thumbs up. We've had a lot of people ask about the live auction trip. There's a link below in the description. It will take you to this page. We have these trips coming up. Come join us on a trip. We'll take you by the hand. We'll help you bid. It's way better than a real estate seminar. It's a small group. It's the only training where some of our students actually get deals on the live training. There's really nothing else like it. Just watching content, you know, is great. However, to do something and take action, you know, is way better. Here's the QR code. Take a snapshot of it as well, or a screenshot. You'll be in good shape there. And then it will take you there. These auctions do fill up. They're super fun. And it's not like fake urgency. You know, they do actually fill up because it's such a small group. But it's totally awesome. You know, the value you get learning in person is huge. So you guys can check that out. And it's been super fun. So appreciate all of the great questions. Once again, go back to the beginning of this, watch, skip to the sections or follow along where we're looking at these property. This is the introduction step to it. This is the first piece to get your foot in the door in the game. We do have other videos that go through the title, all that sort of research. However, I know that most of you guys watching this, A, haven't done a deal. B, you've never been to a tax lien or deed sale yet. C, you haven't done a tax lien or deed deal. Okay. So it doesn't make sense for me to show all the advanced pieces if you haven't even started or walked onto the rink yet. You know what I mean? It's like some people are like, if this were, let's call it hockey, show us how to do a slap shot when you don't even know how to skate, right? So looking at these properties is teaching you how to skate, how to do it. I really want to emphasize that make this be the year where you just stop consuming content without taking action. Because before you know it, this year is going to be gone, right? Every year goes faster. Every year it's going to get harder and harder to get into real estate. And now is the time. The best time to get started for you was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So whether or not you're going to join us on one of these live auction trips, whether or not you're going to take this information or get the free book, it's not under this video, it's on other ones. The main point is to just do something. And I'm going to harp on this for a minute or two. And if somebody wants to talk trash in the comments, go ahead. But I really doubt that they've actually done deals or anything like that. But that's really what it is. Because if you take action, this stuff works and it can work quickly. So on that note, thanks a lot for watching. Do me a favor, thumbs up, the link to the auction in the description. And let's make 2025 the year where it actually kicks off for you. We'll be here to help you. And we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.